Why does OEM dirt bike parts exist? Like, what's their purpose? Yeah, that's something I had to figure out uh, as a rider myself. Is like, what is lacking in the world of motocross or dirt bikes in general? So having a place where you can do it all, work with the best at one location so it's done as a unit. So you build it the right time, the right way the first time. Carbon, it's endless what you can do. I mean, this is a 170 pound bike at SEMA. This is almost 10 years ago now. So there's really no limit to what can be done. I'd say the biggest thing right now is allowing bikes to be used in more places. Instead of it being a charge from the police, it's just a ticket. If you have a street legal bike, there's a lot of street legal kits, but they don't actually hold up to actual abuse. They're not at the level they need to be to handle off-road dirt bike use. And we've spent a lot of years testing FE501 here and creating the brightest headlights so you don't get hit. If they see you and hear you, they're not going to mess with you. I mean, unless you want them to, but they'll know you're there. You get 10 to 20 times brighter than stock headlights is available uh, with just the right battery. You don't even have to rewind your stator. That's not something you have to do anymore. To just creating any bike the way you want it. It's really, I would say, our strong point is helping the rider and the bike join together. So before you buy a bike, you could call us and say, "Hey, this is the kind of things I want to do," and I'll recommend, the manufacturer. It used to be Honda was the most reliable for a long time. Then it was Yamaha. Now I would say Stark and KTM are the most reliable. But they all need something to create a bike that you could ride 100 hours on it and not have any issues, to ride from Canada to South America, to race the Baja 1000, to race Supercross. All these things that we've accomplished is why we have this knowledge. It's not that we just decided, oh, this is how we're going to do it. It's thanks to a lot of people that have purchased from us and shown us the way, and we've learned and tried new things and adapted. And that's what this company's all about, is helping bikes become one with their owner and saving bikes that would have just been left out for part out or sold because they couldn't find the product or they couldn't find the solution or it wasn't what they needed, so they bought something newer. Adapting it or saving it from these options and just creating art. You could just Tom Cruise, Oblivion, Morgan Freeman. You could just What's the CR450X? Sold three of them. It's really just the limit is what the customer wants to do. And we have all different stages from just, I want a Husky that I can ride it, to work, but I can go jump 150-foot jumps, not going to have any issues. Pull wheelies at 100, you know, ride it wide open for hours on end, no issues. Like there's 150 horsepower 450s with turbos and, out of a 4.45 cc or 0.545 liter engine, 150 horsepower. That's what's possible, and that's what all the SAE Formula teams have shown us, and what engines and what's possible. And those guys create the new Formula One cars. Like that's where we learned our engine stuff. Now we work with a lot of great people, manufacturers, organizations that allow us to do this. It's not just all us. Carbon fiber bars, titanium, a lot of the resto mods, retrofitting newer products like the Spike SKYB forks, just bolts right up. Um, you know, these are our tail lights. I guess I could just click on it and that would not do this, huh? Maybe it won't. Yeah. Anyways, these wheels, you just can't really damage them. Like you can spend years of riding and never touch spokes. Stock wheels, I mean, you get a couple hours out of them and their nibbles are leaving the shop. They're just completely loosening themselves. Brand new Huskies. So every bike needs their touch and you don't have to go crazy. You could just, for instance, this bike, if it was me, I would do wheels, KYB front end, slip on pipe, and ECU, call it a day. Now, this bike has about 20 grand into it, and I've ridden it 100 plus hours and never had an issue. So there's a lot of items like complete engines. There's Yamaha engines with 700 hours on them original. There's certain engines that can last longer by just swapping them from your original motor. OEM crate engines are the way to go for reliability. If you need more power, everything around the engine is the way to do it. If you're trying to build a race engine, it's 4 grand every 20 hours minimum. And it's cheaper to put titanium chain and lighter wheels, lighter drivetrain intake than to keep those engines set back out, sent back in. You have to have like two engines at all times. So there's a lot of ways to create solutions for supercross riders, or I mean, look at what's his name, the Kawasaki guy who got seventh place now rides for Pro Circuit, but he's riding a 450 with just suspension and a pipe. Got seventh overall in the 450 class, stock KX 450. Um, so many riders. Yeah, at in Denver, um, High Point or not High Point? Is it High Point? Thunder Valley. What is his name? He uh he runs a stock engine and still gets top 10 in Supercross, like against people that have engines that are rebuilt every weekend. So there's not a real need to go crazy with engines unless you want to, unless that's something you're enjoying to do, and that's more of an art thing and just an enjoyment thing. So that's the whole process of our site is to create longevity solutions. So you do it one time. And this is why we built this site. So there's only 400 products, but it's 4 million page website. So you use that, and then you can pick through everything you need on the website that's not your run-of-the-mill, fully custom exhaust, carbon fiber bars, legit wheels. Like the titanium is just it's it's uncomparable. Um, a lot of people just soak them and they get a color out of them. These are actually PVD coated. So nitrate, PVD coated, it's like a, and they're an alloy titanium. They're not just 100% tie, and that's why they last and they don't crack and they don't break. And that's the idea of the whole website, is to create stuff that other companies haven't created yet, or it's just not as good, so we made it better. So street legal kits, like real street legal kits that you could ride like a dirt bike on, not just like stuff that's gonna fall off, like the stock stuff, like original stuff, you get one ride out of. And these aftermarket cheap street legal kits, they're literally just to get the bike street legal. But if you want to see where you're going and not get hit and have something that's going to last after Glen Helen National six race, 6 hour race, this is why we did what we did. It's not about selling a product, it's about solving a problem and having a place where people can build a complete motorcycle that fits them. That's the idea of the website. It's not to sell what everyone else is selling. It's to create stuff that rear shocks straight up. They got this little mud flap, and you have all this stuff going in your shock shaft. That was the whole idea of this. It just solves your rear shock from getting damaged. It's a simple thing, but it's needed. There's a lot of drama that goes on back there, and to rebuild a shock is not simple. And if you scratch a shaft, I mean, it's $500. Again, the whole idea of the website is to create things that don't exist, help people build complete bikes. If one part solves your issue, great. Yet most people buy one item from us because they can't find anywhere else, and it doesn't exist anymore. It hasn't been made from the manufacturer for years. If that's the case, it's going to take some time to get. Can we get it? 100%. Also, if you buy something that's 40 years old and it's not perfect, like it's not in the package, it has some cosmetic scrapes, but it's in perfect condition, that's what it is. If you must have brand new in the box, like OEM original stuff, you got to build a bike with us so we can spend the time to do it correctly, to reach out to all the collectors and get you that exact part. Because there is brand new bikes that are sitting all around the world, and they'll take that brand new part off for you and they'll put a used part on because they don't care. There's always a solution. I mean, we used to buy bikes just for a part on the website for the last 15 years. If it doesn't exist, we just buy it for that part. So we can solve any issues. It just has to be realistic. And we really are focused on helping people with builds and bulk orders, because then we can spend the time to make sure the bike is what you say it is. So like, oh, 04 CR250, you need this, but has something been replaced? Can we get photos of it? Or would you like to just update it here? Or we can spend the time to actually do it correct, so you're stoked and we don't have to worry about returns, because that is the main reason why we don't sell to individual items, is because we want to make sure it's the actual part that you need, not just because you're like, oh, I need this part, and then you're like, oh, actually this didn't work, can I return it? And it's like, as easy it is to just say return it, this stuff is so expensive. This isn't like Amazon where they just let you return it and then they auction it off for pennies on the dollar. This stuff's super expensive. So for things that we're unsure of or you don't want to deal with that, there's a crypto checkout, and that is for people that want this item and they're 100% they need it, but we are worry if it's the right item. So that way you can order it. You're going to get exactly what you need. We're going to stand behind it. But if you order a stator for a IT 490 and it's $900 and we have to get it, it's yours. There's no returning it. And we're all about standing behind our product, but we're not going to just have a IT 490 stator sitting here because you wanted to return it. So that's what crypto is like. It's you buy it, it's yours. And we have no problem helping people find stuff, but I will no longer build stuff or find stuff for people that think that they can just return it like it's some large t-shirt from Nike. It's something that only you need and the value is with you and there's not much profit and it's a lot of time. So that's the whole story behind the site. If you can't find anywhere else, just be realistic. And if you're going to be upset, like, oh, where's my item in a week? And Suzuki hasn't made it for 10 years, then I would just go buy a new bike and sell your bike because that's the least of your problems. There's going to be many other things that you have to do to get that bike to be reliable and really sort it out. So that's just an understanding of why and how and what we are. And like I said, I love to help people that understand what it takes to build a bike or what it takes to create a unit that's actually going to be a better bike, not just get an exhaust or get a rear master cylinder or get these little things. Like you have to do a unit. Like it has to be a complete assembly. And that way we can help you build a bike for you as a human. So we got to get to know the customer. And that just takes time and a lot of products to do it correct. So it's just one and done. And that's why we created these kits. And that's what this is all about. So we're focusing on kits and helping people with building it and then riding it the whole year. And then after that, they can either take the parts off, put on the next bike, or sell it with the parts that are worn out and then keep the wheel set for 10 years because that's how good the product is.